Do you find using your journal consistently to be a major challenge? Part of the reason for that could be that you haven't habitualized your journal use. We all know what habits are, those regular routines or patterns, the things that we do essentially without thinking. How do we get using our journals to that point? The structure we're using today comes from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear, which honestly is one of my favorite books, and if you wanted to check it out, I do have a link in the description box below. But his habit building process involves 4 main stages: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. Do all of these and you'll find that making using your journal a habit will be more successful. As we talk through these stages, feel free to take some notes. Otherwise, I do also have a free printable of this list available in the description box below. Make it obvious. Any habit that we have is going to be triggered by something. For instance, your phone chimes, so you check it. You get home, so you take off your shoes. These triggers are called cues, and in this part, we want to make the cue for your journaling habit as obvious as possible. We want to make it something that you can't miss. One way to do this is by using an implementation intention. So I will behavior at time in location. For example, I will populate my journal at 8 a.m. each day at my desk. You might have multiple implementation intention statements for the different things you want to do in your journal, or for the different times that you want to be checking in with it. For instance, I will fill in my daily trackers at 9 p.m. each day at my desk. Make it specific. Vagueness in your statement means that you'll be less likely to follow through. Another way to make your journaling habit obvious is to use habit stacking. This is tying the habit you're trying to build to one that's well established. After current habit, I will new habit. For example, after arriving to work in the morning, I will check my daily tasks and events in my journal. Another way that we can make it obvious is by designing your environment to make the cue of your habit visible. One of the ways that I tend to do this is leaving my journal and writing utensils in a place that's super hard to miss. So for instance, face up on my desk right next to my keyboard. Make it attractive. In this stage, we're trying to make completing the habit of using your journal more enjoyable. One of the ways you can do this is by using temptation bundling. So by pairing something that you like to do with this habit that you're trying to build. For instance, if you enjoy starting your morning with a particular food or beverage, maybe you want to bundle your habit of journaling with that enjoyable task. So for instance, having a nice coffee while you do your journaling. Be careful, don't spill coffee on your journal. That would be a bit of a bummer. Another way to make a habit more attractive is to join a culture where doing that habit is the normal behavior. For example, joining a community where journaling is the normal practice. This could be an in-person community. For instance, my friend Rachel and I like to meet up every Wednesday to do work in our journals. We call it Bujo Wednesday. Or it could be a digital community, for example, the JashiiCorrin community, which is available on Facebook and Discord. Links to those in the description box. Another way to make regularly using your journal a more enjoyable task is by using a motivation ritual. So doing something you enjoy immediately before using your journal. This could be similar to the temptation bundling that we talked about before, but is typically something you try to do immediately before the habit you're trying to build. What's something small and enjoyable you could do immediately before using your journal? Make it easy. In this step, we're trying to eliminate any barriers that there might be to completing your journaling habit. One of the first ways we can do this is by designing your environment to make filling out your journal easy. So for example, setting up your desk or your workspace so that all of your materials are readily available. What we also want to do is try and reduce any friction by decreasing the number of steps between you and your journaling habit. This could be as simple as leaving your journal open and face up on your desk. It may seem small, but just that little change has made me use my journal so much more. You also want to make sure that you're preparing your environment to make any future doing of the habit easier. So leaving your desk or workspace in such a state that when you come back to it in the future to do more journaling, it's super easy to get started. It's not cluttered, it's not messy, your supplies are readily available, all of those kind of things. In his book, James Clear talks about using the 2-minute rule. So how can we downscale your journaling habit to make a version that takes 2 minutes or less to do? This is also referred to as the habit before the habit. So rather than using your journal being the habit you're trying to build, maybe it's just opening your journal is the habit you're trying to build. Certainly should take less than 2 minutes, especially if you've designed your environment so that your journal is easily accessible. Make it satisfying. In this stage, we want to make completing your journaling habit as satisfying as possible. One of the ways we can do this is by using reinforcement and giving ourselves an immediate reward when we complete our journaling habit. What's something small and enjoyable we could do immediately after journaling that would make us enjoy the process more? One of the ways people can do this is using a habit tracker. So keeping track of our habit streak and trying not to break the chain. So how many days in a row can we actually complete our journaling habit? As part of this, you want to make sure that you never miss twice. Missing once is just a one-off. Missing twice is the start of a new habit, and not one that we want to build. We want to try and get back on track immediately if we fall off with our journaling habit. Question of the day for you: what is your implementation intention statement going to be for your journaling habit? So remember, I will behavior at time in location. As I try and strengthen my journaling habit, mine's going to be, I will check off my trackers and tasks in my journal at 9 p.m. each day at my desk. If you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy the one we have on the screen here on how to keep up with your journal or stay consistent. And until next time, team. Bye!